So I went to a fellow baker who had been in the industry for more than 15 years. I spoke to her. She talked to me about costing, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to start calculating. You calculate. You've not been making losses, but you've not been making money.
The money you thought.
Yes. You know, there's a difference between cash flow and profit. And that's what people need to understand. There was like a boom.
I was going to ask about that because I'm like, I know, me personally, I know like 2 home bakers off the top of my head.
Yes, not even 2. Think about it. I always tell someone, everywhere I go, I give someone a challenge. I give you just 5 minutes to think. I know you know 5 bakers. Top of your head.
So people started baking.
People started baking.
Home bakers, saturation.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Loy. Today I am in Zimmerman. This is just off Thika Superhighway, and I am here at Small Haven Cakes. This bakery was founded by Natasha, and we're here to speak to her. She's going to tell us all about her journey, how she started this business, and a lot of very good tips for anybody that is in this business or wanting to join this business. Thank you so much for clicking. Let's get into the story. So thank you, Natasha, for inviting me to Small Haven Cakes. I'm so glad to be here.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Yeah. Most people don't even know our location.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is Zima. We are on just off the Thika Superhighway. Yeah?
Yes. We are just off Committee Road. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So my name is Natasha Kiburi. I can say I come from Mombasa because that's where I was born.
Okay.
But I've generally grown up both 50-50, Mombasa and Nairobi. I feel like we never lacked in terms of if it's like the basic needs, if it's shelter, if it's school and everything, everything was there for us. We're just 2 kids, my elder brother and myself. And yeah, we came from a middle class background. Yeah.
And so when you were growing up, what career path were you attracted to?
I feel like it kept changing. You know, like when you're a kid, all you know maybe is a teacher or a policeman. You know, just the kawaida things. But as an accountant, you know, like the things that are around you, but as you grow up, you get exposed.
Yeah.
So growing up, I had wanted to be an event planner.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's actually, in fact, when I was coming to Daystar, when I was doing communication, when I was doing public relations, ideally I thought that was the main thing that like PR people do.
Events.
Yeah. And then when you go there, you're like, okay, we are doing a lot of media and not events. But so there was a bit of confusion in the middle. But after Form 4, okay, for me I did Form 4 into a 7, and you know, there was post-election violence after that. So that really slowed things down in terms of going to university and all that. So we had a lot of time at home. And you see, you can't study computers for a whole year.
Yeah.
It was just packages. It was nothing like
driving. What one driving, computer.
Yeah, computer, the kawaida thing. So my mom really insisted I do baking because like in our family we are into art things and cooking. My mom's side of the family we are into that. Yeah, then my dad agreed because I used to experiment a lot in the house. So he's like, okay, that makes sense. So I ended up doing baking before like joining campus. So again, there was not that aspect of I've learned also this skill just before I got into university.
Okay.
Yeah.
You went into university, you said Daystar University?
Yeah.
You studied PR.
Yeah.
What happened after university?
So after university, I started job hunting as usual, where I really job hunted. I job hunted and did more job hunting, but I wasn't lucky in getting a PR job.
Okay.
So I had started doing baking in campus as a side hustle.
Okay.
So now, as I'm job hunting, I'm still baking on the side because that's what I started doing in campus.
Yeah.
Like I used to take orders and do over the weekends. Like I just do cakes over the weekends because during the week I was in campus and I was like in Athi River, so that was far.
Okay.
So I'd come home over the weekend and do like a few cakes here and there. So as now fast forward now to after campus, as I was job hunting, I was still baking on the side.
Okay.
So I couldn't get a PR job, and after like a long period of being frustrated, I just asked myself, like, I have a skill here and I'm earning a bit of money from it. What if I just concentrate with this? If I get a PR job from now, the CVs are already taken, well and good. I can look at it at that point. If I don't, at least I have this skill.
You have something. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back now, because you have said you had already started baking.
Yes.
Take us back to what made you start baking when you were a student?
I think growing up from a business background, because like my dad was a businessman.
Yeah.
I used to even work in his company, but I never used to get paid. I used to be told that I'm being paid with the skills I'm learning there.
Which makes sense. But what business was that? What business was that?
We used to sell scrap. We used to buy scrap metal and sell metal. So like now these chumas for building, you know, like the tubes, the Y16s and all that. So we used to sell.
And this was in Mombasa now?
This was in Mombasa. So we used to, so we were in the steel industry.
Okay.
So that's what I used to do. So ideally, when I used to go to work, I do the front office part. So if a client comes, I deal with the client. If they want maybe X amount of chumas, I'd go measure, sell for them, then facilitate all that. So that's what I used to do. So I think that's where I got the business aspect from.
So here you are, you're a student and you have this business background type of.
So that's how I started doing. Like then I also didn't want to keep bothering my parents for pocket money. Of course, I was still given pocket money, but there's things you want to do, you don't want to keep telling your parents, give me money.
Kuenda rave. Give me 2,000.
Nataka kusiju kufanya nini, we have lunch. So there was that. So
Okay. Tell me about your first order. How did you make that happen?
Okay, my first order was, my aunt was having a housewarming. Actually, my first order was like a by accident order, and that's the point where I realized I could sell cake. So my aunt was having a housewarming. She's like, oh, Wamboi, si una baking, si you do for me a cake, I'll pay you. Then I'm like, I didn't even know like where to start. I didn't know like how to cost. I didn't know anything. But I was like, so my mom encouraged me. She's like, "We're fine. Don't be scared. Just do, and then you see." So I did. I did the cake for the housewarming. She had also ordered another cake, because I was a newbie. I'd never sold a cake before. So my cake wasn't the main cake, but at least I still had the opportunity to do the cake. So when the event was over, like, now we were cutting cake and everything, so I was getting good feedback for the cake.
From your cake now?
From my cake. So I was like, okay, there's something here. That's how I realized, okay, there's something here.
Okay. How did you now say that you're going to monetize? So you have gotten an order ya kibahati. That's how you're saying, okay, there's something here. What did you do next? Okay, so now when I got the order, what I did is I took a loan from my dad. Because I literally didn't have like anything to bake with, because when you're baking at home, there's no pressure. You use like a sufuria as a baking tin, you don't need that in the cake to be like a perfect round. If it's so you just bake with whatever you have. If it's mixing, you mix with your hand. So if it's not very like perfect, it's still okay. But then here I was thinking I'm being given money to deliver something, so there was also that level of pressure. So I took a small loan from my dad. So I didn't, and luckily, because I was still living in my mom's house, she had an oven. I had free ingredients because she decided to give me the ingredients for my first cake. So I just went and bought a hand mixer and one baking tin for that order, and a box and a board. That's how I started. Do you remember how much it cost you to make that first cake?
No, I don't. I don't remember like in general, but I can't say I remember here. And
how did you get the client?
Not my aunt.
So now after your auntie, so your auntie, you've seen and the feedback is good. And now you are thinking, wow, this is something. Now I'm thinking about now the next, like how did you now get that client when you see kibahati? It's like an actual client.
Now I think I can say I've also been quite lucky. My mom is a serious marketer. For me, I'm a shy person. Like I can go in a room and I'll live there without nobody knowing what I do.
Yeah.
So for me, usually my work speaks for itself in terms of I get referrals from the work I do.
Yeah.
So in every cake that I do, I strive to get one more client from it.
Yes.
So for us, we usually maintain quality because that's how, But then now my mom's friends, her colleagues are the ones who I can say were my first clients.
They started ordering.
Yeah, she used to go, hey, my daughter bakes. In fact, even till today, people think it's her business. They're like, oh, your mom amekuachia biashara. Then I'm like, yeah, ameniachia.
Okay.
I just go with the flow.
Because she's the one who was loud about it. Like
she's very loud up. Yeah, so for me, I'm of the quiet type. So I rely mostly on referrals.
Okay.
And also my friends, because I can say my immediate family and my friends have been quite supportive. So through them, I've also been able to expand my network. So if a friend orders for a birthday, in that birthday, someone will be like, oh, where did you get this cake? Then they say, oh, Natasha did it. Then that's how
another
client comes.
Okay.
So also my family has been quite supportive. Because most people, in the business community, I hear people complaining, oh, families, for me, I can say I've been quite lucky. Like my aunties, my uncles, everybody, they promote me.
Okay. Let's go a little bit into your, when you are a student, you are doing it part-time, only baking during the weekends.
Yes.
How many orders and how much money was that for you at that time?
So at that time, I never used to do a lot because again, you're just limited to, you're coming from at home on Friday, so you only have Friday night and now Saturday only for cakes.
Yeah.
So maybe around 2 cakes, 3 cakes in a week.
Okay.
Because now you just have one day.
Okay.
So the income I can't say was a lot. It was more of like petty cash kind of thing.
Do you remember the profit per cake?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Were you, and at that time, were you like doing accounts? Had you learnt about the business side, like the paperwork side of business, or were you just going? Sometimes I talk to people and it's like, your time, unafanya tu, like you just don't even know how much money you are making. Unaendelea tu kufanya without really officially.
So now, for me, even that's one of the hard lessons I can say I learned. Okay, I used to keep accounts because I never used to want to come and just use, I'm doing this in my mom's house. I'm already using her resources. So what I used to do is I just used to keep a counter book and just make sure I'm not making losses.
Okay.
So like I'd do expenses, like I'd buy ingredients, do expenses.
Yeah.
And now money coming in, money coming out. So it was just basic math.
Yes.
But I never used to go to per individual cake.
Yeah.
So like now when I get bakers who want to get into the industry, for me that's the first thing. I'm very passionate about like telling people about costing and also learning how much is this cake giving you, because you see for some of us we did the mistake for so long. By the time you get to start rectifying it,
you've lost a lot of possible income that you could have made.
And also mistakes, because you see now if you've learned your costing badly, you can't just put the correct price.
Because your clients already know.
So it has to be also gradual. And also in the process, you still lose people. So any person coming into the industry, that's the first advice I always give is do your costing. Because like when I started, the market wasn't so big. And the bakers who were there were not also so giving in terms of information. So you'd want to be mentored, but there was nobody to mentor you. And I feel like that really also brought years to come. It also has broken our industry because there's also a lot of undercutting. But why is this happening? Because people are not informed. So most of us, you'd go maybe like a place like Valentine Cake House, their list is online. You say how much, you just go check how much are they selling, and then you approximate. You try to you approximate, but you've not gone down to do your math to see, okay, these are my expenses. This is how I should sell. So for years I can say I did that as a mistake.
So I want to understand the transition between you've been doing this in school, you've graduated and you've job hunted. How long, by the way, did you job hunt, if you remember?
I job hunted for about 2 years.
2 years.
Wow. And then now I was still doing this on the side. So before I now decided to I'm taking Small Heaven and making it a business. I also now decided to look for a job in a hotel, in a pastry department.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was lucky. I went to Safari Park for 3 months because I also wanted to understand this industry that I want to join. I don't have a lot of back other than the training I did before.
Yeah.
I've not done it like as a full-time thing. Is it something that I will like when I do it? You know.
Yeah.
So I was able to get an internship at Safari Park Hotel. I worked for 3 months in the pastry kitchen, and actually there's a lady I met there, and when after now the 3 months we had an agreement that after this, because it was ending like in August, when we get to December, you don't have a job, I don't have a job, we can do a partnership. Yeah, because I already had initial clients. I had like a mixer. I'd already upgraded my mixer from the one I'd bought. Yeah. So also from the money I used to make in campus, I used to invest in
the bakery.
Like more of the hobby baking, but now more items. I'd buy accessories, I'd buy more tins, I upgraded my mixer, like still within the campus time. Yeah, so I was also investing in that. Yeah. But at that time I wasn't looking at it like
this is what I'm going to do.
This is what I'm going to do. In fact, I also
do you know, is this what you have done? Like, okay, maybe we'll come to it, but it's been like about 8 or so years.
Yeah.
Did you know this is what you're going to do for 8 years, like for the next 10 years or so?
I didn't know. In fact, even right now, like even my younger cousins, I keep telling them, the money you get in campus, save. Because I never used to save. Like, I used to do these things for myself, but I never used to save. Yeah. Then I always look back and I'm like, if I had that culture of saving from back in the day, like, where would I be now? Yeah, so I say it's information I have to pass to the next generation.
By the way, same.
I always preach that. Hey,
Mimi, kwanza, this thing of, like where to save. So, for example, I have a culture of saving and I've always been a saver. But I would just save like my money in just a bank account.
Yeah.
And then very recently, I learned that you can actually do things like treasury bonds. You can do money market. I'm like, I know. Hizo pesa zote na zimeshaisha. Hizo pesa zote. Kuna time nimesave. The times you save back and you like, hey, I've really saved a lot of money. Zimeshaisha. Now when I'm learning the information, I have to start like really struggling to build my savings fund. But now the information comes. So I'm hoping that people who are watching this are also enough young people who can actually make the right moves from the start.
Because me used to save, and then I go check my account. I'm like, I can afford a new laptop. You go get yourself something. And maybe it's not even urgent. Like, it's not something you really need to buy.
Have planned much better.
Yeah, you could have planned much better. That money, like you're saying, ungeka MMF, it earns you more interest. By the time you get to use it, so I'm very passionate about like now teaching people how to save and having the self-saving culture. It's very, very important.
One gap that I've noticed, because I also know a few home bakers, one gap I've noticed is in the costing. So would you mind giving us like a really quick tutorial about how to cost for a cake? Maybe after we are finished with your journey, how to cost for your cakes, because you're inachanganyaga watu.
Oh yes, definitely I can do that.
So let's come back to your story. So you have decided, how did you had met somebody at Safari Park, mumeagree December ikifika
tutaanza hii kitu.
How did that go?
Well, I was in partnership for 2 years. The first year was good, the second year was rough, and we decided to just go our separate ways.
Okay.
Yeah. So luckily, the name Small Heaven was my name, because that's what I used to use even when I was in campus.
Okay.
Actually, to go back to how the name Small Heaven came about, in Desta we used to have like long holidays, the summer holidays, a 3 months break. So for my first 3 months break, I attended the cake festival, the first cake festival, and it was I found it quite interesting. So the second cake festival, when I was in my second year of campus, I attended as a participant. So I went as an amateur baker.
Okay.
So, and I was like, okay, I can't just go and just have like a table. I needed to have
Wamboy.
Yeah, Wamboy, I needed to be branded.
Yeah.
So that's how the name Small Heaven came about.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just brainstormed between my mom, my cousin, and myself. And that's how we got the name. Yeah,
nice.
Small Heaven.
And it has continued.
Yeah, and it has continued, yeah.
Do you mind, if you're comfortable, but do you mind going a little bit into the partnership? What were the struggles that ended up breaking the partnership?
Okay, for the partnership, I feel like the struggles were just having different personalities, and yeah, I could say that.
Okay.
Yeah, because in terms of work ethic, we were both very like
on the same
driven, focused, but in now terms of our personalities were very different. So now in terms of now running the business, that's where the issues came about. I could say that. Yeah.
You split.
Yeah.
How was business? Now I want us to talk a little bit about maybe the money part. How was it for a baker who's starting out? How were the earnings? And at that point, had you already figured out the costing? Ama you were still kind of fumbling?
There we were still fumbling.
Okay,
I can say that.
Yeah.
Okay, the first 2 years, I can tell you for free, I did not take anything from my business.
Wow.
I just invested time, effort, work. Because you see, I didn't have money to pump in.
Yeah.
And I did not want to take a loan. I know probably my dad would have agreed to give me a loan, but I did not want to grow with pressure.
Yeah.
Then at least you're still a young girl, you're getting free accommodation. My mom was housing
at
me.
Home. Yeah.
I was using her house as my office.
Yeah. And still her oven. Was it still her oven?
Yeah, it was still her oven. So
yeah.
I was not investing in these other things to grow the business. So so I used to everything we earn, even in the partnership, we used to earn and put it back.
Yeah.
So even when you were splitting, we split now 50-50 everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I started earning, I didn't start giving myself a lot of money. I started by maybe an allowance of 5 Gs a month.
Wow.
And that was not even in the first year. Yeah.
So the whole first year, you're not taking any profit.
I did not take anything.
You are working?
Yeah.
Probably every day?
Yeah, every day. Even I used to work till Sundays, so I had to get to a point where you have to put a stop because it will never be enough. So now we work Monday to Saturday.
Yeah.
Sundays, even though people beg us,
go off by force.
Like, you have to go off by force. Because again, you remember you're human. You need a break.
Rest,
you need a rejuvenation. You also need to go to church, So.
Okay. So at what point did you start? Like, how did you even notice that, oh my gosh, we have surplus? Like, how did that happen? Because I know sometimes me, I've also done some businesses where yani unakulaga losses, you don't even expect even to make money. Like even the transition where you can do your books and say, hiya, there's like an extra,
Yeah. So your business will tell you, now I'm ready. This space is small. Now I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because for me, it had gotten to a point where I've even removed seats from my mom's sitting room. I've put them in the balcony. Like if you enter, it's just a working station, mixers, a bigger fridge. Her bedroom was self-contained. I had put for her fridge there, one seat there.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's when you know. Then
so you go. So was it just still you and your partner? Had you hired bakers at that point?
No, we hadn't hired bakers. It was just the two of us. Nice. And then also we had some guys from church.
Yeah.
The teens used to come and help us with delivery. So you pay them like maybe 50 bob and give them fare.
Yeah.
So you pay like 50 bob a cake for every delivery you do.
Yeah.
But I still give you fare back and forth for every. So
to
fare separated.
Yeah.
Like a tip. It was more like a tip.
Yeah. So they were volunteers.
They were volunteers. Basically, they were volunteers. Yeah. And then you give them lunch. Yeah. So it was just basically they helped us with the delivery bit. Yeah. And so the business tells you, because you see now at that point, so the more responsibility you can take on, because other than my first cake, when it comes to ingredients, I used to buy for myself. If it's for the cake, I have my margarine for the cake, I have my unga for the cake, I have my sugar. So I used to also avoid using the resources at home. Other than the first cake I did, all the other resources I used to know.
The business has to pay for itself.
If it's my cakes for, I don't take the cakes that we've bought for the house. Yeah. I have my eggs for the cake, everything.
Okay. So separating the business, ijisimamie hapa kando, and the home ijisimamie.
Yeah. So kidogo you also start paying rent, because you're like, okay, I'm in this house for free. I'm living here, so
and my business is
here.
So
when the business could pay rent, I started paying rent now for the house. So with time,
the money just started, more and more money started coming in.
Yes.
And at this point bado hata hujashikanisha costing hata bado.
Wow. Bado tunafanya na approximates.
Nice. Okay.
Nakwambia it's the grace of God.
So how did you transition now to actually realize that, I'm costing wrongly? What happened there that you realized?
So now when I moved, now now when I realized, okay, now this space is getting smaller, I need to give my mom her space back. Yeah, because now anataka kufanya fellowship, she can't even bring visitors because now it's ideally.
It's now a bakery.
So I looked for space, and just here within Zimmerman. So I got space, moved, and that's when I realized, okay, there's things that hadn't been costing. Then also there are bakers. No, at this point, I think bakers also started becoming more open. So I went to a fellow baker who had been in the industry for more than 15 years. I spoke to her. She talked to me about costing, and I'm like, oh my God. And now I went home, I started doing my sabus. I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
I know that moment when I realize, oh.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
The
you have to sit back.
The losses.
It's like, oh, you need to be calculating your stuff and all that. So then I went back and I'm like, oh, I have to start calculating. You calculate. You've not been making losses, but you've not been making money.
The money you thought.
Yes. Because now you're seeing cash flow. There's a difference between cash flow and profit. And that's what people need to understand. Because with our work, there's a lot of cash flow, but there's also a lot of cash coming out. Because it's production basically. So if I do orders this week, next week I have to replenish everything that I used. Because you see, there's no order that just comes. You paid for cake, the ingredients. So it's like for every order you get, for every plus, there's a minus. So for every order you get in, there's something you have to deduct
to spend
for you to get that order done.
And you have to replace it for the next order.
Yes, you have to replace it for the next order. So ideally, that's how our biashara works.
Okay. When you moved to your own place now, how did that affect the business financially? Like now you have moved out, hakuna cha sijui stima ndio hiyo, like you need to pay every single thing. How did that affect the business?
Okay, so luckily small things like kama stima nilikuwa ninalipa, like for my units I used to pay, but then now you realize you have bigger overheads because now the rent there is not the same as the rent at home. Because now you're paying much more rent. You have to add someone, because see, now remember I split with my partner, so I had to add one person to come and
an employee now.
An employee. In fact, I used to pay my employee and not pay myself. Because again, sacrifices you have to make when starting a business. You sit down and do costing, and now you realize there's no choice. I have to add prices. I have to change my price list. So you add your prices. And that's why you have like people who stick with you and also a mass exodus. So it's like again, it takes you
to get now again the clientele.
It takes you again steps back. So for me, and that's why mtu akitaka kuanza biashara, like for me, costing, the first lesson I always tell them is costing, and the number 2, hiyo ya kukosa kwenda kwa duka, you start small and grow gradually. Not unless you have like cash you can inject in and not money that you need to be returned back quickly. Because you have to give your business time to grow.
Give your business time to grow. That's a very important lesson right there. What has been your journey now from that first place that you rented to come to this really nice place? Actually, when I was coming in, I was like, it's quite a nice place. You have your own compound and it's a very nice setup. What has been your journey from that first place all the way to come here?
Okay. Here, we actually got this space by chance. At that point, I wasn't really looking. But now my former place, I was next to a pub. So there was also a lot of drama, like, like there's just drama, walevi, kuna like uchafu. So it wasn't really ideal, but at that point, that's what I could afford. So when this space opened up, it's actually a neighbor. I used to live actually right here next door.
You used to live here? Also not the shop. The shop was elsewhere? The shop was up this road, up Kamiti Road. But you were living here?
In this building, So just right next to my shop. So in fact, I used to just walk back and forth. Back and forth. So one of my neighbors was like, hey, there's this bungalow used to look deserted. But apparently there was someone who used to live here. But it's only that they never used to take care of
their surrounding.
Surrounding. So the landlord was a bit strict. He was like, I'm not budging with my rent. Take it or leave it. So some of my 2 neighbors had tried coming and they were like, okay, for home, it doesn't make sense. So two of them actually referred me to the space.
Okay.
So at that time I wasn't ready to move. Then the landlord wasn't ready to budge on the rent. But luckily he was understanding enough. So because that was like in January, so I paid deposit.
Which January, which year?
I can't even.
We're in 2023 now.
I'll have to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you paid the depot?
We paid the depot, and then he allowed me to pay 1 month depot and enter in March. So I didn't pay.
So you didn't pay for Feb.
I didn't pay for Feb.
Yeah.
I skipped Feb. So that was quite understanding of him, and now that made it enabled me to afford coming here.
Okay. And so you just moved because it became a more convenient space.
It was a more convenient space for me.
Sawa.
Yeah.
So how long have you done this bakery officially?
Well, officially, I could say from 2016.
2016. In all this time, what has been a highlight of your work?
Okay, for me, the highlight of my work, I think being in this industry, small things are what excites you. Because you see, you're involved in people's memories. So when it comes, you're doing their birthdays. It's a bit personal. You're doing their birthdays, you're doing their weddings, you're doing like their occasions.
Yeah.
So when someone comes and calls you back and they're excited and they tell you the way the cake was nice, that thing really, it's just, even with my team, if there's something that gives us a high is getting positive feedback. Yeah. So when you get maybe negative feedback, you feel bad, but you always, even we sit down and have a meeting, like where did we go wrong, so that you do not repeat that. Because you actually take it. You were like, okay.
Inauma.
By the inaumanga, I won't even lie. Oh, inauma. So we have to sit down. We're like, okay, this is the feedback we got. So where did we go wrong? So that we don't repeat that. Because I think maybe it's because I also deal with artistic people. So sisi watu wa art tunakuanga.
You take pleasure. So you do cake art. You take pleasure in the product, like
hata ikitoka sometimes you're like, hii keki, hata nangojea feedback. Because
nice. And what about on the flip side? What about low moments, or what are low moments that you can remember?
So for me, I can say low I can say has been the business just generally being down.
Okay.
I could say 2019 was a difficult year for us in terms of finances and in terms of also orders and revenue. And we were very hopeful for 2020. And then now, first of all, 2020, I started with psych. I'm like, this is my year, And then March, COVID.
Yeah.
So COVID for us was also, I don't even know between 2019 and 2020 which one was worse.
Probably 2020.
Because like when COVID hit, like March was more of cancellations, returning people's deposits. That's the work we were doing. So for me, the fact that you survived business till today, I could say it's amazing, it's a miracle, it's a blessing.
How did you survive?
For us, how we survived is between March and June. I didn't have the heart to fire my team. So I just had a conversation with them and I was like, okay, there's no money. We can all see. There's no money. So I just asked them if they could get happy until the time when I could...
when the clients came back.
Then the decorator would come the next day and decorate.
Yeah.
The delivery guy would come and I'll deliver the cake. So ideally we were working on closed doors. So I can't say we went like completely zero.
Yeah.
It was there, but we
just much lower.
But also I had business savings. Again, when you were starting, I told you I was saving.
Yeah.
So I had quite a good amount for my biashara savings, of which over these hard years has been depleted, and trying to grow. Hata saizi sijaanza hata kugrow it back.
Kurudisha.
Yeah, because there's no surplus. Now we are doing month on month. Now we are breaking even on our expenses. Yeah, we are at least paying our bills, not going to the pocket. The business is sustaining itself, but there's no extra. So even like our business savings, we've not been able to take them back. From back 2020. Actually, for you, it began 2019. Yeah.
Can you tell what the shift was like? Can you tell what the shift was in the market or something that happened that made 2019 a difficult year for your business?
Number one, I think I was still heavily relying on word of mouth business. I had not started investing in marketing. So I should have started investing in marketing before the need to invest in market. Arose. Yeah. So like now, yes, we still get, majority are still word of mouth, but we still do market. Okay. So the marketing also helps, but mostly online marketing and all that. Social media. Okay. Yeah, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, social media marketing. Yeah, and also the industry also, there was like a boom.
I was going to ask about that because I'm like, I know, me personally, I know like 2 home bakers off the top of my head.
Yes. No, not even 2. Think about it. I always tell someone, everywhere I go, I give someone a challenge. I tell them, I give you just 5 minutes to think. I know you know 5 bakers. Top of your head. Minimum.
I've thought of a third one. Nimekumbuka a third one.
You know 5. Minimum.
So people started baking.
People started baking.
Home bakers, saturation.
So there's that in the market.
Okay.
You also have supermarkets.
Oh my God!
Has a big bakery.
They have a bakery.
Yeah. So Kenyans are there. We're still many. I believe the market is still big. But now, how do I capture? So the question, even till today, I ask myself, how do I now capture
your people? My people. Those who are going to be your people.
Because again, even though I was told to supply Zima by myself, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
People just are many. Zima alone. Yes. Yeah. So it's just a matter of how do I now learn how to capture my people. So now for me, that has been the big question.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
And that speaks to me also as a struggling Airbnb host. Yeah. How do you reach your people and find them? Because their people are there.
Yeah, the people are there.
Okay. Wow, so you survived 2020 just with the power of having saved. Kibahati tu ulikuwa umesave kidogo, and then kidogo here and there, few orders. How has it been now when now we are talking about post-COVID? This new normal, how has it? I know you have said you have not yet actually started to pick up again on your savings, but can you compare how has the business been now recently?
Okay, now we also had elections last year. For us, it's not. Again. Okay, what we are printing, it's their ear. What we are,
graphic design.
What graphic design is their ear. Sisi, on the other hand, it's usually not, because I've done another election before.
Yeah.
So even that election year was quite low. Okay. So even where I got the motivation to save was from my first election year in Biashara.
2017.
Yes. So I was like, I need savings, and not my personal savings.
Yeah, the business
savings. So those are two, you need to differentiate. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
Having your own personal savings and having your business.
And you see, you need your business savings, and then you need your business to make you enough money to have your savings.
I know, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so I could say the business hasn't peaked completely yet. We are not back to where we were.
Okay.
But we are still striving to get there.
Okay.
So in terms of, I think we've also been lucky because we have clients who've been very, very loyal. They've been with us through the test of time, and they've been there to support us. So like we're grateful for those people who really stuck with us.
Yeah.
But also this year we've realized we're also getting new people,
New clients.
So hopefully we are being hopeful. So far the year has not shown promise, but we are keeping the hope.
And so these new clients are coming in. Is it through marketing or
word of mouth again?
Word of mouth.
Word
okay.
of mouth
Nice.
Again. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Can I now ask if you're comfortable as per usual? So how much are you making, like now that it's post-COVID and you're trying to pick up? Can you have a figure of how much profit you're making in a month?
Okay, profit. I can say we are not at the profitable bit yet.
Okay.
But we are covering. I can tell you, I'm not going back to my pocket.
Okay.
Like we are covering all the business expenses.
Okay.
So the rent for the business, the salary for the staff, the statutories, NHIF and NSSF.
Yeah. Are you taking a salary yourself?
Yes, now I am.
Okay.
Though I feel like it needs to be reviewed, but I'm still waiting.
You are the reviewer, no?
No, but
so the clients are the reviewer.
Yeah, the business is the main reviewer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are hoping that things will get better.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can say now, I've not reached the place I can say I'm making profit from it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's sustaining itself month on month. I'm not going back to my personal money to
feed it.
So ideally the business is sustaining itself. So I'm in that space now.
Okay, so now trying to push to now get to where it can start profiting, start making savings, and the rest of the rest of the things that Wow. What tips do you have for somebody that is, and I know there are so many home bakers out there, or people maybe who want to do, like, apart from home baking, to actually set up a place like this, like a place maybe people can come sit and eat cake. What advice do you have? Apart from pricing, get it right from the beginning. What else?
So again, that one I'll have to repeat. Pricing, getting it right from the beginning, and also avoiding unnecessary costs, because we buy things out of excitement. So you start buying with the necessities. What is really necessary for me to purchase?
Okay.
To grow my business, because you don't need it all. You don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need it all. You don't need like a 20-liter mixer, and you can start maybe with a hand mixer. You graduate to a stand mixer. You graduate. So being also patient to purchasing things as the business grows. The business, as I said before, the business will communicate. Now I need this. Now I need that, and also learning to reinvest. So there's also learning to reinvest. The money you make from the business, usifurahie sana, useme sasa nenda weekend out, staycation, Yeah, so putting that money back in the business, so that in as much as you're injecting your money, if you put the money back, it will grow faster.
Yeah.
So another thing also, marketing is quite important, and also managing your finances, like putting your records, because I feel like sometimes when you're doing it at home, you can be, it's easy to not do your books proper. Hata kama it's a simple counter book, I always tell people, just have a simple counter book, have your expenses, have your costs. For everything you buy, and then you match it up. Nowadays you even have applications. You can do, you have apps, you can put your expenses, you have Excel, you have so many things. Just making sure you note everything, because once you ideally put everything down, you're able to tell, okay, am I growing, am I not growing?
And where do I need to make some changes?
Where do I need to make some changes? Awesome. So it helps you with that. Because ideally you can even have like a long list of things that you're selling, but again your clients only ask for a particular, so you also learn, okay, I don't need to have all this, I need to have,
focus on what people want.
Focus on what people want.
Where can people find you? Where can people find Small Haven?
So for Small Haven Cakes, okay, we are based in Zimmerman off Committee Road, but funny thing, most of our clients are not even from this area. So we do a lot of deliveries. We deliver, of course, at a fee to different locations. So we have clients within Nairobi, in different places of Nairobi. So we're not only limited to this market. So you can find us online on Instagram at Small Haven Cakes, on Facebook.
Small Heaven Cakes.
At Small Heaven Cakes. Yeah.
Nice. Asante sana. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
for
me.
sharing your story.
I really, really do appreciate.
Amazing.
And I hope guys got encouraged.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
Actually, me, I love these stories. Me, I really love these stories because they make it real.
Yeah.
They make it real, like, you know, how people are making their money, and you know, you see yourself. So for me, I even like to see myself because nasemaga hii kikataa, I can always try this. I can always try that because there are so many things people are doing.
Yeah, there's so many things people are. Even me personally, I'm always, in as much as I'm doing cakes, I'm always selling things. Like now I'm even selling perfumes. I have
really?
I've guy, okay, kama kuna mtu, it's like you're a you're a hawker but you're not a hawker. I can say that.
Asante sana.
Yeah, asante pia.
Cool. Delivery merudi na hizo kelele sasa. So the delivery is back, as you see. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks so much for inviting us here.
Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much again, Natasha, for your journey, for sharing just all this information about baking and costing and, you know, how you've done it for yourself. Thank you for watching. From Small Heaven Cakes, you have heard where you can reach them. If you want a cake, jameni wapigie simu. They have, personally, I have, Allahu Akbar. Isha hivyo bana.